my beautiful people. So let's talk about the messenger effect and what happens when you stay visible. Let me tell you something that I've been witnessing. When you stay visible through your transformation, something shifts in people around you. It's not just inspiration, it's something deeper. It's something deeper. Last week we talked about the journey, the actual work from broken to unbroken. And this week we're talking about what happens when you stay visible through that journey. What happens when people watch you struggle and heal? What happens when you let them see the real transformation, not the highlighted reel? It creates something powerful, and we call it the messenger effect. And today we are diving into what that is and what matters. Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am so glad that you are here. As we continue to transform in life, so does this podcast. In season 5, we're moving differently, more intentional, more action, less learning, more doing, less waiting, and more living. This is a space where we don't just talk about self-love, we practice it. We don't just discuss transformation, we live it. Every episode is an invitation to do the work with me, not just listen to me talk about it. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself intentionally is a foundation of true transformation. So get ready, get your journal, get your pen, because in season 5, we're doing the work together. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful people, again, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Naomi Banks. And before we dive into this teaching, let's ground ourselves, all right? Well, today we are understanding the power of staying visible. So wherever you are right now, if you can close your eyes, if you can, and get comfortable, all right? Take a deep breath in. Now slowly release. And I want you to say to yourself, my transformation is not just for me. It's for everyone watching. Inhale. Exhale. Now I want you to say, my visibility gives others permission to transform. Inhale. Exhale. All right, now say, by staying visible, I am changing the narrative for people who thought it was impossible. Inhale. Exhale. And say, I am the proof they needed to see. One more breath in. Release. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes and let's begin. All right, my beautiful people. So let's talk about the messenger effect and what happens when you stay visible. Let me tell you something that I've been witnessing. When you stay visible through your transformation, something shifts in people around you. It's not just inspiration, it's something deeper. It's something deeper. It's like it's permission. It's permission. And so the problem with transformation when it's visible, let's talk about the problem. Usually when people transform, they disappear. They get quiet, they hide, they don't want anyone to know that they were broken. So by the time people see them, they're fixed, right? They're cleaned up, they put together, they got a new name, they got a new life, they got a new identity. And the people watching think that they must have always been like this. They must have always been like this. That I could never do what they did because they didn't see the journey. They didn't see the work. They didn't see the mess or the struggle or the moment of the decision. They just see the results. And the results is impossible to replicate if you didn't see the work. If you didn't see the work. So a lot of times, I have some family members and other people say, again, why are you using that stage name? That stage name. Why are you not using your your government name or the name that your parents have given you? Why you don't use Amanda? And I say, because I truly wanted people to see the transformation. In that name, Naomi Banks, it holds power. And when I say that, my prayer is that you don't see it as um, arrogance, conceited, or anything like that. I truly want people to see the transformation in it, in that whole movement, in the whole thing, and that is real to where I've come from being actively in the adult industry at the top echelon of the industry and where I am now. Understanding that I don't have to deny one part of my life to now live in a newer version of my life or a healed version of my life. And so when I decided to share with my transformation journey, um, honestly, I didn't know that it will evolve to where it is today. I didn't know that it would evolve to the season of self-love. When I first started doing Ask Naomi, it was just me reading letters, old letters that people had written me while I was at Sirius Radio, Playboy Radio. And so I was just building content on my YouTube channel. That's all it was. I was still had my other businesses that I had created after I retired. But to evolve into something like this is it's amazing. But I wanted to wanted people to see it all happen in the real time and know that it is possible. That it is possible not to live outside of that box that people put you in. That you don't have to be or live that stereotypical um, design or character that society will put on you because of a choice or decision that you made in your life or that you were born into something. Does that make sense? And so I even deciding to do this series this month, you know, um, let me say this. All I can say is that I continue to allow God to truly guide me because month to month, I don't know what I'm going to be doing when I'm sitting in this chair and I'm speaking on this platform. I'm talking into this mic. I don't know. I used to, map everything out, and it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And so when I do come here on this platform, it is real, it is raw, and it is very, very uncut. And I am being a representation of real people, no matter what celebrity status that people might put me in or how low they might think I am um, morally. I'm showing you what real healing looks like. I'm showing you what real transformation looks like. I'm showing you what real love, self-love looks like. And I'm sharing it in real time with you. So possibly in one of my chapters in my life or one of my um lives or chapters, as I said before, that you can resonate with it and say, wow, I can do that. So this is where the power of me being visible or why I share my story and why I understand that visibility do transform. And so now we're going to talk about the power of how visibility, how the transformation. Because when we stay visible through the transformation, something different happens. People watch your struggle and they see you choosing. They see you choosing. They witnessing you building. They see you messy and they see you unbroken. And suddenly something shifts in them. They think, well, if she can do that, maybe I can do that too. If she can do that, maybe I can do this too. So I want to break something down to you on what the messenger effects creates, because that's what we're talking about today. Um, so this is what the breakdown, what happens when you stay visible. One, you give permission. When you transform visibly, you give other people permission to transform, that they see that it's possible, that they see that someone just like them did it. And then suddenly transformation, it feels less like a fantasy and more like a real choice, you know? And then two, the roadmap. When you share your journey, you create a roadmap. You show people, here's what I did. Here's who I asked for help. Here's how long it took, and here's what I had to give up. That roadmap is so invaluable because people know what to expect. They know that it's not easy, but they also know, listen, they also know that it's possible. And then three, the community. When you stay visible, you attract people who's on a similar journeys. And then suddenly you're not alone anymore. You are surrounded by people who are also doing the work, that are also transforming, that are also refusing to hide. And then that community, it becomes the foundation for continued transformation. And then the shift of the narrative. That's four. The shift in the narrative. When you're visible, you change your story. That old story was once you were labeled, you're done. Now your visible transformation say, no, once you decided to change, you're starting. You're literally change what people, possibly what people watching, you know? There are some people that see me, Naomi Banks, oh, that's that porn chick. And then you see people that has seen my journey and say, wow, did you see her go from here to there? Man, she not only making me a believer in faith and love and change, but damn, she could possibly make me be a believer in myself. And then five, it's the multiple impact. That's where the real power comes in. When you are multiplied, when you can multiply that impact, when one person transforms visibly, it multiplies to a lot. Because the people that they aspire start transforming. And then those people inspire starts transforming. And then suddenly you got a ripple effect. Suddenly that you're not just changing your own life, that you're changing generations, you're changing people. It's like that ripple effect that we talked about a few months ago or last year. You want to be that pebble that drops in that water and begins to cause that ripple effect. But then there is a cost. And this is why people don't stay visible. And I want to be real about this. They don't stay visible because visible transformation costs something. It costs comfort. People would judge you. They will attack you. They would try to pull you back. And I know this personally. The stalking emails, the DMs, the people trying to force me back into who I was. But staying visible, it means accepting the cost. It costs perfection. That you can't pretend to have it all figured out. That you have to be okay with people seeing your real self, your struggles, your doubts, your fears. And a lot of times that is terrifying for people who've been performing their whole lives. It costs time. Being a visible messenger takes time. You're answering messages, you're showing up, you're holding space. And you can't just transform in private and move on. So guess what else? It causes isolation. You can't hide anymore. And for people who've built their safety in hiding, that is scary. That is scary. So a lot of people ask, why is it worth it? Why is it worth it? But here's why I do it anyway. why I stay visible despite the attacks, why I keep sharing, why I keep showing up, because the impact is worth the cost. I've had people telling me, seeing you transform gave me permission to leave my toxic relationship. I've had people say, watching your journey helped me to get sober. I've had people reach out and say, I thought it was possible, it was impossible. And now it's possible that I see you doing it. And now I know that I can. That's worth the attacks. That's worth the discomfort. That's worth staying visible. That's worth staying visible. Man, when I sit here recording these episodes, and even though, I've written these messages and just saying and hearing it back in my head, it's like, wow. Like, girl, do you understand what life has given you? What your journey has not only given you, but has given others? This goes back to when I was a little girl and I told my mom that I was going to change lives, that I wanted to change the world. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I wanted to do it. I didn't know what that journey was going to look like, but I knew I wanted to do it. So you're talking about a 5, 6, 7-year-old little girl telling their mother that I want to change the world. And I guess my mother looked at me and said, girl, you ain't gonna do nothing. And not in that instinct, because we don't know, especially if we haven't done the work, especially if we haven't tapped inside. We don't know. But then when we learn it, sometimes we're afraid to share what we've learned because you don't want to be mocked. You don't want to be ridiculed. You don't want to be harassed. You want to stay in the comfort. But my take on it is that this is a blessing that was given to me to be able to be in the know and not share it. Nah. I know if God has saved my life several different times, I'm sharing that. I'm sharing that. I'm sharing how I got through it. Because my prayer, my hope is that in one of those stories, real life incidents or decisions or choices that I made, that you can find your answer to what you're looking for. Just this morning, I had a conversation with my husband. And one of the questions were, I was at my altar. Let me go back. I was at my altar and I was saying this special prayer for a family member of mine. And within the prayer, I remember this phrase: she's using fear as a survival tool. And that stuck out to me. That stuck out to me. And I remember again sitting at the altar and I remember the messages that came out to me. And I remember one of the messages is that about assuming, about asking the questions so you can know exactly what it is that you want in life, or exactly what answers that you want so you to be able to move forward, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's in your life. And I remember thinking when I was sitting at that altar, it was like, there's possibly questions that I need to be asking myself, that I'm probably assuming a lot of things that I need to ask myself. And even I'm going to go back to that prayer that I prayed for my family member. And I talked about the fear being the survival tools. That right there most likely is 98% of the world. me included. And my next question to myself was, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And my husband looked at me and he said, well, what are you afraid of? And I had to sit in it for a minute. Like, what am I afraid of? And him is unknown, the unknown. Like, whoa, okay, you're going back to that little girl that want to know everything. That want to know everything. And then as I walked from the kitchen sink over to the dining table, and I was sipping my hot water and salt, water salt. And as I was sipping and drinking, I thought about the unknown. And I'm thinking of it in a different way this time. I'm thinking of the unknown in a different way this time. Mm, how amazing is it not to know what's in front of you? And let me and follow me when I say this. You know, before we have these planned out things on what we want to do in life, and if it's not perfectly the way we get, then we get antsy, anxiety, stress, all of those things. And when I think about now, just this morning, when I think about the unknown, I'm thinking that as a gift now. Because now I don't have to stay in that lane or that limited mindset to get to whatever that unknown is. That unknown now for me is being in the presence and working with what I have and using those tools as the best of my ability to do what's needed to be done. And then the known will come up as I go. Does that make sense? I hope I didn't lose anybody with that one. And when I tell you that from there to right here, that just came into my mind. Because I thought of differently. I was like, okay, this unknown is different. And here talking right here with you all, it revealed to me that that unknown is a gift. Because now we can live in the presence. We can work with what we have right now. Do the best what we have right now. And start to move and change. There was another message also. Is doing your best. And when you do your best at whatever that you're doing, make sure you're not doing it for a reward. Make sure you're doing because that you love it. Whether it's being the best mother, the best father, the best wife, the best husband, the best doctor, the best lawyer, that you're doing it for the love of it. And the love for me is watching people transform, watching people come into the best versions of themselves, hearing the stories of people just able to come out of a funk or a toxic relationship or now describing themselves as something amazing. That's what type of rewards that I want. So when I think of that, so now when I think of the unknown, it's a gift now. That was something that I was afraid of. Wow. That was something that I was afraid of. And so I'm very happy that that I have the courage to stay visible. I have the courage to share my story, because there's so many chapters and so many dimensions to me in my stories and my experience that I resonate with so many different people. And I'm appreciating my imperfections. Yeah, yeah. So I want to talk about real quick about the messenger effect. Um, and here's what I want y'all to understand about it. When you have a messenger effect, and you have that messenger effect too, your transformation, even if you think it's small, even if you think it's private, it does matter because people are watching you. People watching you, and they need to see what's possible. Whether it's your coworkers, whether who's breaking free from their past, or whether it's your friend who's learning to set boundaries, or even your child watching you, how you handle failure. They watching you. They are watching you. And your visible transformation is changing what they think is possible for themselves. So this week, I'm inviting you to consider what would shift in you if you stay visible in your transformation. Not oversharing, not trauma dumping, but being real, honest, and visible. What impact could you have? Who needs to see your journey? Who needs permission that only you can give? Who? Hmm? All right, my beautiful people. All right, so here's our closing affirmation for today, and I want y'all to repeat after me. All right. I am transforming, and I am staying visible. My journey matters. My visibility gives others permission. My struggle is my strength. My transformation is my message. I am not hiding anymore. I am showing up. I am being seen, and I am changing what's possible. I am the messenger effect. I am reclaimed. I am unashamed, and I am unstoppable. All right. All right, my beautiful people. Well, this week is about understanding the power of visibility. When you transform visibly, you are not just changing your life. You're giving permission. You're creating roadmaps. You are building community, and you are shifting the narrative and multiplying impact. That's the messenger effect. So now on Action Wednesday, we are going to identify on how your transformation is already affecting people around you and how you can amplify that effect. But this week, I want you to just sit with this, that your visibility is contagious. And the people who are watching you need to see what's possible. All right. So until Wednesday, this is your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks, reminding you, stay visible. Your transformation is someone else's permission slip. All right. All right. Look, and then if you are ready to go deepen into your visible transformation or guided support to move through your own journey, Elevate Me is here. Phase 3 is rooting in self-love. It's all about standing in your power visibly and join others doing this work at Elevate Me at Nyomi.com, or go to straight to the app at studio.com backslash Nyomi, spelled Nyomi. And hey, if it's something in today's episode that hit home for you, I want to hear about it. Text me or leave me a voice note using the link right in the show notes. All right. As always, I want you to be good to one another in yourselves, and I always keep it sexy. Love yourself first so you can love others well. And remember, watch us on YouTube. If you want to, if you're listening and you want to see the visual, hey, come stop over there at the Season of Self-Love. All right. Again, have an amazing, amazing day. Have a good one. If you got something from today's episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. And come back every Monday and Wednesday, because we are doing the work in this season. I love you. I'll see you next time.